Rigetti is not just a quantum computing stock. It's actually becoming part of a much bigger question. If quantum computing becomes critical to national security, well, can the United States afford to rely on anyone else for the hardware? Well, that's the real angle here, not whether Rigetti's stock moves tomorrow. The bigger story is whether domestic quantum hardware becomes so important to the United States government that it cannot allow the capability to disappear. Because quantum isn't only about faster computers. It's about the race to own the machines that could one day eventually help secure, test, or challenge some of the most sensitive systems on the planet. Well, in this video, you're going to learn what Rigetti is building, why its US-based quantum chip facility matters, and how this sovereign quantum story could affect the stock if the market starts treating Rigetti as a strategic infrastructure company rather than just another speculative tech company. But before we begin, if you're new to the channel, hello, my name is Rick Orford. I'm a Wall Street Journal bestselling author, been trading since 1999, and no, I'm not a financial advisor. And that's a good thing, because I'm right here with you, breaking down the numbers so retail investors like us can make smarter, more confident decisions with our money. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. And you all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by almost 6 times. Go to fool.com/RickO to get your 10 stock picks right now. Now, for decades, quantum computing has been viewed as one of technology's most ambitious frontiers. The science was exciting. The headlines were big. The long-term potential sounded enormous. The practical adoption was limited by engineering complexity, manufacturing challenges, and uncertain commercial demand. But now that's beginning to change. Governments are starting to treat quantum technology as much more than a science project. They're increasingly treating it as a matter of economic competitiveness and national security. And that entirely changes the debate. Because the question is no longer just who can build the most powerful quantum computer. Well, the better question might actually be who can build the trusted hardware that's needed for the industry's long-term growth. Well, that's where Rigetti enters the story. Over the last year, shares of Rigetti have traded in a range of between $12 and $58. So the market is clearly reacting to both the excitement and the uncertainty around this emerging quantum computing industry. And honestly, that range tells you a lot. Investors definitely see the upside, but they also understand that this is still early, risky, and highly dependent on execution. Rigetti is different from some companies in the space because it's not only focused on quantum software or cloud access. It's developing superconducting quantum processors. And it also operates Fab 1, its dedicated quantum chip fabrication facility here in the United States. This is where quantum chips can be designed, manufactured, tested, and improved under Rigetti's own control. And that gives Rigetti direct control over a critical part of the quantum hardware supply chain, just at a time when domestic manufacturing is becoming more and more important. And when you connect that with the sovereign quantum angle, well, this gets even more important. If quantum hardware becomes strategic infrastructure, owning the physical manufacturing capability could actually become a major long-term advantage. Now, before I go any deeper, I do want to mention something quickly. If you like to talk about companies just like Rigetti or quantum computing in general, and maybe even options trading, make sure to join my investing community. It's one of the fastest growing investing communities on YouTube, and it's completely free to join. There, the members talk about specific companies, stock ideas, and even options trading strategies in a way that's practical for everyday investors. To join, just scan the QR code on the screen or check for the link in the description. Now, let's get back to Rigetti because the real investment story begins with an asset very few public quantum computing companies can claim. Rigetti owns its own quantum chip fabrication facility. This is super important. It's called Fab 1. Fab 1 allows the company to design, manufacture, and test superconducting quantum processors right here inside the United States instead of relying entirely on third-party foundries. And that level of vertical integration gives Rigetti more control over product development. This is when a company controls more stages of its own production process instead of outsourcing everything. For a normal tech company, that may be useful, but for a quantum hardware company, this could be very, very important. And that's because quantum processors aren't just basic chips that can be easily swapped between suppliers. These are highly specialized systems where design, manufacturing, testing, and refinement need to work closely together. So when Rigetti can fabricate, evaluate, and refine new chip designs efficiently, that could help the company move faster. But the bigger point here isn't just about speed. The bigger point is sovereignty. If the US wants trusted domestic supply chains for advanced computing technologies, then don't you think a US-based quantum fabrication facility is the right way to go? I mean, it's not just a factory. It becomes part of the country's strategic technology base. And that's why Fab 1 is so important to the story. The Air Force Research Laboratory has already avoided Rigetti a multi-year contract supporting superconducting qubit fabrication for quantum networking research. And this research focuses on the building blocks that could eventually help quantum systems communicate and scale. And Rigetti has even signed a letter of intent with the US Department of Commerce for up to $100 million in funding to help advance the company's next generation superconducting quantum technologies. Now, to be clear, these developments do not guarantee any commercial success. They don't remove the risks. They don't make the stock cheap, and they definitely don't mean that Rigetti has already won the quantum race. But they do reinforce a key idea. Fab 1 is becoming much more than just a manufacturing facility. It's becoming a strategic asset inside America's broader effort to strengthen domestic quantum capabilities. That's a very, very different thing from simply saying Rigetti's a speculative quantum stock. Because even if the market eventually values trusted quantum hardware the way it values strategic infrastructure, well, then the discussion around Rigetti is going to change. But owning advanced quantum hardware, of course, alone isn't going to be enough. That's the next part to understand. The practical question is how quantum computing will eventually fit into the environments that are already used by governments, research labs, and commercial organizations. And right now, the most realistic path isn't quantum computers replacing classical computers overnight. No, it's quantum processors that are increasingly expected to work as specialized accelerators. And this is when quantum systems handle certain problems while those traditional CPUs and GPUs continue to do their thing, right? So rather than replacing classical computing overnight, quantum may be added to it. And that's called hybrid quantum classical computing. This is a model where quantum processors and traditional computers work together, each doing the part of the workload that they're best suited for. And it makes perfect sense because most organizations, they're not going to rip out their existing computing infrastructure and start from scratch. Governments already use high-performance computing systems. Research labs already use complex computing environments. And commercial customers, they have cloud and data center workflows. So I say the more realistic path is for quantum computing to plug into the systems that already exist. And Rigetti's already aligned with its platform with that direction. The company makes its quantum processing units available through major cloud providers. It also offers dedicated on-premise systems for customers that need direct access to quantum hardware. Different customers have different needs. Some may need cloud access because it's easier to test and scale, but others, especially in sensitive areas like R&D or Government environments, they may want systems they can access directly. And that fits the sovereign quantum story as well. Because if quantum computing becomes tied to national security, not every customer will want to depend only on shared cloud access. Some will want trusted hardware closer to home, and that's where Rigetti's cloud availability, dedicated systems, and domestic fabrication become part of the same bigger picture. The company isn't just trying to build a quantum chip. It's trying to build a hardware platform that can fit into broader computing environments. And if scientific research, defense applications, and industrial optimization keep getting more complex, that hybrid model may become the bridge between today's research stage and tomorrow's commercial adoption. But there's another reason governments are moving now, even before fault-tolerant quantum computers are everywhere, and that reason is security. Quantum computing is creating urgency far beyond the technology industry. Governments and cybersecurity organizations are already preparing for a future where sufficiently powered quantum computers could actually compromise many of today's widely used encryption methods. That's where the Y2Q idea comes in. This is the point where quantum computing becomes powerful enough to threaten current cryptographic systems. And governments, they're not waiting until that day arrives. They're already preparing for a post-quantum security landscape. And that's accelerated the transition towards post-quantum cryptography years before quantum computers are expected to reach that capability. And this isn't just one single deadline or one software update. This is a long-term modernization effort. Now, Rigetti isn't developing the encryption standards themselves. That's not the point here. Rigetti's role is building the domestic quantum hardware that is driving governments to prepare for this future in the first place. And if quantum computing eventually reaches the scale that's required to challenge current cryptographic systems, trusted domestic hardware providers could become strategically important. Maybe not because they control the encryption standards, but because they help build the hardware layer behind the quantum era itself. And that difference matters. That Y2Q timeline is less about an immediate commercial opportunity for Rigetti and more about why governments continue investing in sovereign quantum hardware today. Because if quantum hardware one day touches national security, communications, and cryptography, then the United States has a clear incentive, don't you think, to develop that capability domestically. And that brings the investment thesis back to its broader significance. Rigetti isn't just competing in a tech market. It may be competing in an area that governments increasingly see as strategic. Quantum computing is being tied to national security, scientific leadership, and long-term economic competitiveness. So U.S. government support for domestic quantum manufacturing, research, and networking all reflect a broader effort to build sovereign capabilities. The goal is to reduce dependence on foreign supply chains while accelerating the development of next-generation technologies. And that's why the sovereign quantum monopoly angle is so powerful. Not because Rigetti is guaranteed to dominate, it isn't, but because the category itself may become too important for the government to ignore. And Rigetti's government work is also moving beyond quantum computing alone and into the infrastructure that's needed to connect future quantum systems. Its recent collaboration with QFOX under a 3-year Air Force Research Laboratory contract is focused on advancing superconducting quantum networking. And that goal is to link superconducting qubits with optical photons, which is one of the key technical challenges in scaling distributed quantum systems. And together with planned federal investment in its superconducting quantum technologies, all these efforts suggest that Rigetti's hardware platform is becoming part of a broader national strategy. And that's important for investors because early-stage tech companies often get valued on dreams, but strategic infrastructure companies, well, they can eventually get valued on importance. And if Rigetti can move from being viewed as a risky quantum stock to being viewed as a trusted domestic hardware supplier, well, that would quickly change how investors think about the opportunity. Now, if you've been watching Rigetti, maybe you want to buy it, but you think the stock is just too expensive today, maybe you'd want to buy it 15 or 20% below where it is today, check this video up here, because I talk about how you can sell a put option on a stock you want to own and get paid to wait for it to potentially come down to your price. And if it does, you get to buy it at the price that you wanted, and you got paid as well. Now, of course, none of this removes any of the execution challenges. I mean, every long-term investment thesis eventually reaches the point where the technology alone isn't enough. And Rigetti appears to be approaching that stage. Operating a domestic quantum fabrication facility creates a meaningful competitive advantage, but technical leadership doesn't automatically translate into commercial success. The company still has to prove that its customers are ready, willing, and able to deploy quantum systems beyond research, scale increasingly capable processors, and manage the financial realities of being an early-stage public company. And another consideration is dilution, something I discussed in my last Rigetti video, which you can watch up here. And I continue to view the company as carrying a critical dilution risk because it's historically relied on issuing additional shares to fund research, hardware development, and future growth. This is when a company creates more shares, which can reduce ownership percentage of existing shareholders. Now, that doesn't automatically mean the strategy is wrong. Sometimes early-stage companies need capital to build a technology that creates the future opportunity. And in Rigetti's case, those investments have strengthened its technological position. But existing shareholders could continue absorbing dilution before the business reaches meaningful commercial scale. And that's the risk that investors can't ignore. Because the sovereign quantum story is very compelling, right? But the stock still has to work for shareholders. Ultimately, the investment thesis is going to depend on execution. If Rigetti can convert technical progress into sustainable commercial adoption while reducing its reliance on external capital, well, today's opportunity could become far more valuable. But if it can't, the gap between technological promise and shareholder returns may remain wider than investors expect. So that brings me back to the question from the beginning. Where does Rigetti fit in the quantum race? Well, I think the answer depends less on whether quantum computing succeeds and more on whether trusted domestic hardware becomes indispensable before the technology reaches widespread commercial adoption. Because if governments continue treating quantum capability as strategic infrastructure, then companies controlling fabrication, manufacturing expertise, and system integration could occupy a stronger competitive position than companies focused maybe only on software. That doesn't mean Rigetti is already in that position. It still has to convert technical progress into sustainable commercial adoption, scale responsibly, and prove that the technology can create real business value. But for me, the bigger opportunity isn't trying to guess who builds the first commercially useful quantum computer. I see it's identifying who becomes difficult to replace once quantum computing evolves into critical infrastructure. And if that future unfolds, well, Rigetti could be participating in a much larger opportunity than the market currently recognizes. But now I want to turn it over to you. Do you think the US government can afford to let domestic quantum hardware fall behind? Or do you think Rigetti is still too early and too risky to call strategic? And before I go, did I get this right? Did I forget anything? Let me know all of that and more in the comments below. And while you're there, if you found the video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe because it really does help others find the video. It supports the channel and it makes sure that you don't miss out on my next deep dive. Well, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again here on YouTube or in my community. Bye for now.